Dang, y'all. Let up on the Upshaws. I was laughing. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss The Upshaws, available right now on Netflix. Now, this series stars Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, Ken Fields, all this, black goodness. Now, normally before I do my reviews, I don't watch anyone else's, but I have watched a couple and they weren't giving the best feedback about this show. Now, me personally, I can't take it there, but I do feel like sometimes we can be really hard on black sitcoms, black everything, y'all. We just hard because we want so much, for things to be excellent, for us to always be portrayed a certain way, when we should know, by now that's just unrealistic. So before we get into how I felt about this show, what I did and didn't like about this series, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things Biggie Shorty. Biggie Shorty. Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this series. Now, I'm going into this series coming off the back of Dad Don't Embarrass Me, that whole Jamie Foxx, David Allen Greer fiasco, also available on Netflix. So I went into this with very low expectations. I didn't want to go in here expecting black comedians that, some of us know to be funny, because everybody doesn't like the same comedians. Some of us know to be funny. Expecting them to be funny, because sometimes we just get on screen and just forgot we was ever funny and just go off a bad writing and say some shit that somebody wrote that we know we weren't supposed to say, that we know wasn't funny. I am so glad that we didn't get that here. I am glad that I wasn't disappointed here on that front. But before we get into what I absolutely did like about this show, let's get into what I didn't like. So since we're getting the bad stuff out of the way, let's just start off with, this show is a black stereotype. We get, so tied up in, stereotypes that sometimes we don't give stuff a fair chance, because it's just like, oh, again, we can only be this one thing. But I have learned to grow and be more accepting of some of these things, because I am totally convinced that the days of A Different World, Living Single, The Cosby Show, Family Matters, all that nuance is over. Like, the nuance for those type of shows, those great 80s and 90s show, maybe like ended for me. You remember Moesha, when they did that flip on Moesha and Frank was Dorian's dad the whole time, that whole cheating scandal, and Dee had left the show. Right about there, it was like, oh, that's when we were moving into, we don't care territory, and we started to get stuff like this where it was just mostly black stereotypes portrayed on screens, nothing with any nuance, ain't nobody going to college. What are we going to college for? I know my parents love me. No, ain't no none of that. Ain't no ain't no Cosby Show. Ain't no none of that. No Huxtables. We straight getting into, the lowest common denominator of what in blackness, what's maybe considered funny, what's maybe considered like, oh yeah, we this is how they are. But this is where we are, people, and this is what we are getting. So it's, we can't always get an insecure. We can't always get, I may destroy, something with, some depth. 9 times out of 10, we are going to get this. And here we got, a broken home, broken family, struggle love, struggle marriage, baby mama, break babies, stuff like that. light skin versus dark skin. You know, you have the dark skin ghetto hood baby mama versus, you know, the Kim Fields light skin holier than thou wife. You know, we have those things there. So yeah. But let me get into what saved this show for me. So let's just get into the casting. Now, I know people have their preference for comedians. I myself, I like Wanda Sykes and I like Mike Epps. I like what they brought to the series. I like that they didn't just get into a Netflix series or whatever and just forgot who they were. They were still Wanda Sykes and they were still they were still their individual comedian self within the series, which I feel like lended to, you know, the transitions that would happen, you know, the exchanges, the chemistry, the cast. And, you know, we have Wanda Sykes. I always love Wanda Sykes because I felt like she was always, you know, prevailed into just being, you know, a Black female comedian, and that she was just really, you know, she wasn't always boxed in. She was very universal and she could go and do different, you know, shows, different stand-up, different, you know, performances. Great. Biggie Shorty. And I always love Mike Epps. You know, who don't love Day Day? Like, Mike Epps has, you know, set himself aside to have this distinct kind of stale, like, how you gonna hook me up with the little sister that's bigger than the big sister? You know, he has this thing, his Mike Epps things, and it's his thing, and it works for him, and it's funny. And they're seasoned and they brought so much of that here. And then we get into somebody like Kim Fields, you know, Tootie, Facts of Life, Regine, living. We are living, hey, single. Oh, in the night is gonna keep your head up. What? Like, living single, like, they brought all of that, all of their years of experience and talent. They showed up and they knew what to do. Nobody was trying to figure their role out. Everybody was on point and they sold this series for what it was, and it was very entertaining. I also like that even though we did have stereotypes going on, you know, like them struggling within their marriage, you know, Mike Epps' character being, you know, the mechanic, the hard-headed husband, always, you know, kind of being a little selfish. And then we have Kim Fields, who's, you know, and I think kind of like the medical field, she's trying to go for a bigger position, thinking about going back to school, trying to do something for herself. And we have them, you know, a couple has been together since high school. You know, he has, you know, an older son, and then they have their two smaller children. And then, you know, he has an outside son and, you know, a break baby, you know, that baby that just happens to be the same age as my baby, you know, those hood problems. I like that even though we have all this struggle going on, all this stereotype going on, they gave these characters some type of nuance to go off of that just didn't keep it at that. We didn't just go for the low blow laugh. Like, it could have been so easily just to go off of that and just keep the series there. But no, we have, you know, as I said, a mom trying to, you know, better herself, go back to school, trying to, you know, keep her family together, being very, you know, strong, united front. And then we have, you know, Benny. We have Mike Epps' character who, you know, may not be all these things. Maybe wasn't, you know, the best father at first, but now he's, you know, coming around. You know, I'm trying to do my best now. I really want to, you know, put my best foot forward to be in my kid's life more. Even, you know, my outside son, all those things, my oldest son, I'm trying to better myself. And then we have this, this dynamic, you know, this back and forth between Wanda Sykes and Mike Epps. It was, you know, to give us, you know, maybe a Martin and Pam, Esther and Fred, you know, whole Sanford and Son situation. And that banter with them, yes, we've seen it before, but it was so funny and worked so well here, and it had me cracking up. Now, I will say that the very first episode, the birthday episode of this series, had me like, huh? Once we got into, you know, the 13-year-old having, you know, a stripper party and us using that for laughs, and, you know, his 13-year-old outside son shooting dice, you know, buying beer and all these tasteless things, I was just like, where are we going? You know, you have the mom, which I would get to, you know, Gabrielle Dennis. We have her, you know, just being like really ghetto. It's really like who? Why? But I will say, as the series progressed, especially past that episode 1, though episode 1, you know, was funny and it did set the standard for what this show will be, I feel like the show was a grower and it got really funny once it got past trying to set the standard for this is how the wife is, this is how, you know, Mike Epps is, this is how the baby mama is. Once we got past that, trying to introduce everybody, we really got to some meat and potato stuff and made the show really worthwhile. But after we leave, you know, getting to know these people, like, I know these people. This Mike Epps character, that baby mama character, the Kim Fields, I know these people. I know these people. I might be some of these people. But once we, you know, familiarize ourselves with the characters and get really interested and get past just them being, you know, oh, we could have been something else, but here they go again. Once we get past that and really, it's like, man, I know these people. That's my uncle. But once we get past that and we get into the children in the series, these child actors here did a really good job for me. And it is so easily to hire children and they just don't. I don't want to compare nothing to the dad don't embarrass me situation, but the young lady there, the chemistry was not there. The young child actress here and the oldest daughter and, you know, the side son, they did a very good job here within the series, and they didn't take away. Children would come on screen and, you know, distract from the scene, and then they do that Judy Winslow, that go to your room. Like they're just there to, hey, ba, yeah, go to your room, and they go to their room, they'll never come back down again. Children are on series for that. Like, no, but they didn't. They gave each and every character here some type of story plots. We got some time with them to get to know them in these 10 episodes. Nobody here was obsolete. There was not one person on screen just to be there. And I really enjoyed that. I really liked the attention to detail with the writing to make sure that they were inclusive of everyone in the series. It's like a really small thing, but it really matters and makes a big difference. And that leads me into the supporting cast for this show. Now, we do get into Mike Epps, who is a mechanic, as I said, and he has, you know, his friend who just got out of prison. He has, you know, another friend there who works in the shop, and they add so much. I really enjoyed them not just being there to be, you know, playing off of Mike Epps. Like, they really created their own individual characters and their play off of each other. Every person in the cast, everybody's chemistry was on point, and it made the show just effortlessly funny, especially with Kim Fields and Mike Epps. I would have never in my mind put those two together to be in anything. Like, Kim Fields looks good. Let me make sure I say that. Kim Fields' regime looks good. But I would have never thought to put them together to play off of each other as, you know, a husband and wife type situation. But I love that it was just effortless with them. Like, you really felt like you know these people, you know this couple, and it was funny and it was genuine. And getting into that supporting cast, we have Gabrielle Dennis portraying the baby mama here, the ghetto baby mama here. Like, once we got into the series and they started her off as, you know, this is my birthday party too, and this is my day, and we got weed brownies, and we got this, and I was just like, I don't know about this. But after that initial episode and you see Mike Epps just trying to do his best to juggle his family life and be there for his kids and maintain and be a good husband, and we get more into her character, she does a really good job with her character, with giving her character some growth and some room to just not be ratchet and ghetto. We do have moments where she's, you know, she's funny, and you see that even though she's this, she has a job, she takes care of her son, she's, you know, trying to you know, be a better mom and all of these things. She's very caring to a certain extent. And I didn't know why we were so hell-bent on the son just being so wayward. Like, it was a bunch of, you know, him doing mischievous things, but I can understand, like, kids do that shit. Kids do that, and I can see them trying to, you know, kind of bring him over, and them trying to kind of portray his mom as, you know, kind of living on the wrong side of the tracks type situation. But it was like, well, dang, he's stealing again. He got kicked out of school again. Like, relax. But I do love them trying to maintain a blended family. I actually enjoyed, you know, trying to see them. It was nice to maybe even get just a funny depiction of struggle love. Like, people take struggle love so get this struggle love out of my face. We ain't for none of this. Like, come on. Like, it was funny. It was funny because it was realistic. I know these people. I know these problems. And just to see that, and I thought a lot of depictions here were really, what gave the show some growth and some nuance, because not only do we see Mike Epps trying to, make progress within himself, within his marriage, even though he's not doing the best job at times, and you see Kim Phil's character, trying to better herself through education and growth and trying to get a bachelor's. You also see them trying to co-parent and have a blended family. How many blended families you know? Yeah, this is a real thing. I don't think, at least in a while, I haven't seen it portrayed this way, to have, trying to explain, hey, Dad, why are we the same age? What happened? What happened? Those conversations, and, trying to make sure you split your time the best you can between your families. And so we don't have to do that. We're just going to try to be as blended as possible, because I can't be in two places at once. And I need all my children to know, no matter, I'm with this mom or whatever, I love you. That's important to see to me. Then we also have another story plot with, their oldest son. And Benny trying to connect with his oldest son. Now, his oldest son is from his wife, but at that point in his life, having his first child in high school, he was, very wayward, not there, not in his life, and he's still trying to overcome that. But we also have a plot line of the son being gay. Now, this is like, at this point, standard to put into series, like as far as representation, to make sure, we check all boxes. It is not like, it just is. I like the way it was handled here. It just seems like at this point, when you speak on, anything, gay, you have to walk on eggshells, and everything just has to be so perfect and set right and politically correct. Like, we ain't trying to get canceled out here. I like that with the son coming out, there was so much acceptance, but we still, had a little bit of pushback from the Mike Epps character going, I love my son and I'm going to accept him. But, I did lie to him about, my eagerness to accept. I am a little hesitant. Like, this is different. It's going to take some time to get used to. This is, not what I thought it would be for my son, but I love that we got to see some pushback from him, because it just seems like, you that, we got to be for it. If we're not for it in this series, they're going to call a union on us. I love that we got that little, and it was very, very small, but I like that we got that there, just to say, it's okay to have, an opinion about these things. It's okay. It's natural. We don't always say, oh, yeah, yeah, No, relax. We can say stuff. So at this point, we have Mike Epps in the series, this very great seasoned comedian on his own wave. And then we have, the beautiful Kim Fields, did her job, knew what her role was, looking good. And then you have Wanda Sykes, who is there being, Wanda Sykes. She has, a very, smited, comedic style, really great timing. And then you have, Gabrielle Dennis, who is coming off of, being Janine in the game. No, she is far from that now. She's like far removed from that to me. I love that we're getting to see more of her acting chops in different things. And also, like, the Black Lady Sketch Comedy Show. She is brilliant there. And I'm loving that she's, getting more exposure. So we have all these things collectively, along with the supporting cast that is also funny, that are also everything here to make this series work. So I don't want anyone to, look at this and go, I don't even want to watch this. Like, look, this is not like, everybody's brand of comedy is different. I found the show very funny. I was laughing a lot, and that's hard to do. It's only been so many shows, like, in the past couple of years that I've actually laughed at that had an all-black cast. I think maybe I did like the Marlon Show. I really, really liked the Carmichael Show. I thought they found a good medium to be, political and speak on things and still be funny and still be very Black and still, be conclusive to all ages, all colors, all. This show right here, I think that this is like, hey, this for the brothers. It's for the brothers and sisters. We ain't trying to reach everybody in the back. We don't gotta reach them. Y'all know who this for. So even though we are following these characters through, their struggling marriage at times, that topsy-turvy situation, you know, the blended family situation, that whole strong family dynamic, their ambitions, their insecurities, their flaws, all these other things that we also got to follow along with these stereotypes to give these characters room to grow as of, you know, when we are, I'm assuming, you know, going to get another season. There is so much room here to be more than a stereotype at some point. And I think that really, I think in season 2, like, it's going to really get good. And after the first episode of the show, I think they really had a lot to say, and they really came across with it great and still kept us laughing and still kept us entertained, all while maybe having a character named Lucretia. You know, like, we know some Lucretias. Hell, you know, I ain't gonna tell y'all my name. But, that was my review of this show, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did find this show as funny as I did, and you weren't as, you know, separated by some of the stereotypes that were here, and you were able to just enjoy the comedy that was here, please drop down and tell me that. If you thought this show, oh, this wasn't even funny, like, girl, what's wrong with you? Drop down and tell me that. I will also be adding, you know, since I found out y'all love me like that since, you know, my last video, and y'all want to send us some super chats and all those other things, but I heard that super chats and YouTube takes a little bit of that. We ain't got time for that. Y'all ain't help me edit this video. So I will be leaving my Cash App below just in case you guys want to send your girl some love. No, it's not, you know, necessary. The videos will come regardless, but it would be cute though. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I see you guys next time. Bye.